Welcome back, everybody, to the second installment in our series commentating all the records in history for Diablo 2 Normal Players 1. So this is where you start up Diablo 2, you start running through, don't type any commands into the console whatsoever, and you just got to get to the end of normal and kill Hell Baal. It could be with any character whatsoever, the way we're covering the history of. And happy to see you back. So last time we covered off the world record by Lav SR, the second world record I can find in history. The first world record also by Lav SR, but was in not the best format to stream, so we went with the second one by him. If we cover off all the records that we've got here, so this is the document we will be working through in this series. So we've covered off Lav. We'll be covering off these two by Nightfall, and generally the approach we're going to take through the series is just taking the first record and the last record by each person. So where Teo's got like 50 different records here where he incrementally improved the run, we'll only be doing his couple of assassin ones and a couple of his sorceress runs. So as I said, the character class doesn't matter for this, and the difficulty doesn't matter. So the Nightfall records here were actually done in hardcore, so I'm not concerned about that. You're not concerned about that. This is all about just beating the game as quick as possible. So today we have Nightfall. So if we open this up, and once again, thank you very much to Indrek for pulling this record sheet together and allowing me to work on it. And do my own extra research, come up with everything required to get to the background of it. So we'll be covering off this record by Nightfall. Now, Nightfall, he hasn't streamed for a couple of years now, and he was a big player in the early games. I think he was actually one of the inspirations for Mr. Llama SC to come in. He sort of checked out what was happening in Twitch, what he could run outside of streaming or casting StarCraft kind of battles, and he saw that Nightfall was doing Diablo 2. There was a good amount of interest in it, and he thought it could do a bit better. So let's go back to the originals. Nightfall, one of the grandfathers of all of Diablo 2 speedrunning. Let's kick it off with this world record. So first up, make sure we've got sound. And it looks like he wasn't very happy with that run, so he's just deleting. And we can see creating a new character. Weirdly clicks on the Necromancer, but that's okay. He must just be sorting out his own setup there. There you go, he's gone hardcore. Runs out into the into the Blood Maw. Doesn't have the quickest exit, but that's totally fine. Ditches his shield, as I've made comment of in all my other world record commentaries, for the characters who start with a shield. Just about every single time.
Like perfect drops right there. Everything I needed but a mana potion.
But basically every time you start with a character with a shield, at the start of the game, you will drop the shield. Simply because you don't want to be wasting time getting stuck in block animations and potentially getting stun locked and killed, especially in a hardcore run. Now he's said, just then, that he's very, very happy with the drops that he's gotten so far, and they are phenomenal. So he's already dropped a stamina potion, that'll make sure that he can just keep running through the game. He's dropped 2 mana potions, which will really help him out once he levels up and gets to Fire Blast. Doesn't pick up the key, that could be worth a little bit of money to help him buy more stamina pots from Akara early on. Now, is he going to do a respec? No, he's not. He's just going to keep running past the Den of Evil. So this is early enough in the strategy. One of the key advantages with the Assassin is that she is strong enough to, like all her abilities, Wake of Fire especially, just absolutely rips through enemies. So you don't need to worry about doing the Den of Evil for the bonus skill point and for respecking later on, because you're always going to be in the same fire build, so no need to respec. And it's just so powerful that you don't need the extra skill point, so you're not wasting the time going through the Den of Evil, killing all those enemies. That there's only one boss pack in there, so you don't really get that much. Now he gets the Exploding Potion Shrine, just like Lav got yesterday, but Lav got it in the Blood Maw, of course. Nightfall here picks up the Exploding Potions because they will be good to sell. They will be really good to sell. Now he's talking to his chat, and unfortunately I don't have chat on my screen. This video is that old that Twitch has deleted the chat history, and he's playing very nicely here in terms of he got all the enemies bunched up when he threw his fire blast. So he was getting lots of easy kills, and that is a nice start. So straight away into the stony field. This map is treating him very nicely.
Except for we're battling levels,
So
really good.
didn't get faked out
Pretty much died
by
pretty easily.
the burial grounds at all. And he's come in and he's found an early rack and issue. Rack and issue is great for the assassin because you can target him from very far away with your fire blasts. He's lightning enchanted, so he doesn't have big resistances to fire as well. And you can kind of manage by attacking from a good distance. You're not going to get hit by all those lightning enchant bolts.
Unreal.
And wow, that underground passage just straight away. That is a phenomenal entrance. Now, underground passage, as I mentioned yesterday, good. I just need to get my layout up properly. So, he's been forced to exit the block this way. So he'll be looking for a straight through. Now he's immediately found a tainted boss pack here. I'm not actually sure what they call it at this stage in the game. Misshapen boss pack, which is really helpful. So the Misshapen, or any boss pack basically, where there's a boss and a bunch of minions, every enemy in that game, I'm just going to shrink that down so we're not covering Jace up. It feels inappropriate to be mean to him and covering his face when he put so much effort into getting a layout working. In fact, I'll move this over here. So, every boss pack in the game where there's a boss with a custom name will give 500% XP, including all the minions in it. So by targeting them, he's going to come up and actually get leveled up much faster, get to that level 20 that he needs to beat get the Ancient's quest, and it also just means that he's getting more damage faster getting through the game, like getting to the key skills he needs. He's got the Assassin here, as I noted earlier. Big advantage of the Assassin is you don't need to worry about the respec as much. Second advantage is that Assassin gets burst of speed. So while she can't teleport like the Sorceress can, she gets burst of speed, so massive boost to run walk speed, and can just zoom through the game if you get enough skill points in there. So very fast character. I think currently Indirect managed to recently get a Player's X run of the Assassin down below an hour 10. So very fast. The Player's X time on Sorceress even these days is, I think, around 55 minutes. So not a huge gap between Assassin and Sorceress, surprisingly. And the Assassin is, back in these days, top class. So because she's so strong, because you can really control how she's going, and because of that run walk, it's a lot safer to run the Assassin. So you don't have to worry about, resistances or block frames or accidentally teleporting into a big mob that's just going to kill you. So there you go. You can see here he's running against another world record by Lav. That's slightly different to the time we looked at yesterday. So, and in my sheet, the time by Lav was 1:49.25. And similar to Lav, he's come across Treehead Woodfist as soon as he got into the Dark Wood, which is very interesting. Now, he's got a nice mob here. He's got all the enemies grouping up, and all those ladies are actually kind of blocking Treehead Woodfist, which is pretty nice. So, by throwing the potions there, he was actually killing a lot of ladies very quickly, and that was very handy. There you go.
No, keep everything.
Alright, little bit of inventory management could use a bit of work. He's also got... Oh, he's done the dagger strat. There you go. So he has picked up on the advantage that I called out a couple of times in the previous commentary on Lav, where Lav was continuing to use that Katar the entire time, whereas if you actually change to using a dagger with the Assassin, your trap laying animation is faster, because trap laying is not a spell. It's based on attack speed rather than cast frames. So Nightfall here has switched over to using a dagger very wisely, ditching his Katar. So that's very good. That'll be an advantage to him for sure. Gets the Strangling Gas Potion. That, hopefully, I'm interested to see if he uses it, but that will be key to beating the Countess, because Countess is fire enchanted, so she has extra resistance against the fire attacks, and Assassin is all about fire attacks. So exactly as Jace is saying here, Nightfall is saying here, sorry, I keep saying Jace. I'll keep to his streamer name. Exactly as Nightfall is saying here, this run has started out amazingly well. So he's gotten reasonably good, like, his underground passage wasn't too bad. He's actually, I was worrying, I wasn't sure if it was going to take that experience shrine, like getting an experience shrine as well. This is a phenomenal run. Yeah, experience shrine already. Oh, unfortunately, he's just killing a lot of time looking for that waypoint. So he's looking for a waypoint here in the Black Marsh because he will be running the tower over and over again to try and get 4 runes in particular, exactly as we saw on Lav's run. We're looking for Tal Eth to make the stealth rune word. I don't know why he's picking up javelins. He doesn't need javelins. Maybe he thinks it's worth gold, I'm not sure. He'll be looking for Tal Eth as well as Tyr Ral. So Tal Eth to make stealth, give him faster run walk, faster hit recovery is probably the key things for the assassin, since she doesn't need to worry about cast rate because she's laying traps, not casting spells. As well as Tyr Ral, which is Leaf. He'll put that in a 2-socket staff, and that gives him +3 to fire skills. +3 to fire skills works unanimously across every single class. So whether it's a sorceress fire skills, whether it is druid fire skills with Firestorm and Fisher, whether it's the assassin Wake of Fire, Fire Blast, whether it's the necromancer with Corpse Explosion, and whether it's the paladin with Holy Fire. Now that I think about it, that's a strat I've never seen on the Paladin world records in particular. And I wonder, surely someone's tried it at some point, is getting like a Longstaff with a Paladin and putting in Tyr Ral. Oh no, because it's too late. So Ral Rune requires level 19. I just say this because the Paladin uses Holy Fire until he can get to Blessed Hammer, so Tyr Ral would presumably help Holy Fire as well, but by that stage Paladin's spec'd out of Tyr Ral. So we're here in the tower, and as I've mentioned before, you know, we're going to be in here a lot because he's going to be running. Now the tower has a special layout, so he's been forced to run this way. Every single time, the block end that he needs to run into with the exit will be a left turn, and that'll be on every single level except level 5 because there's no exit. So you can see here he's kind of been forced to run up, and there you go, bang, straight up. Same time, same way this time, which is just a coincidence. It could be the same. He could be forced to run this way and it'd be a left turn there. It's all about just the entrance and exit patterns for the tiles. He's actually gotten pretty quick levels as well, so that's very nice to just be able to get to the bottom of the tower and just kill the Countess over and over again. Another nice thing about the tower is you get almost every time, it's like, I'm going to say a 90% chance of having a boss pack spawn on every single level. And sometimes you can get double boss pack spawns. Should have known that that tile wasn't going anyway, but that's okay. So as you run through, you're going to find those boss packs. As I said earlier, boss packs, there you go. This one was a double boss pack, even better, and Devilkin as well. Unfortunately, didn't spawn with too many minions. Each boss pack gives you 500% XP, so every enemy you kill in that boss pack is worth as much as killing 5 normal enemies. So a boss pack that spawns with 5 minions, wow, you can kill them like that, and you've killed the equivalent of killing 25 other enemies. Now you saw there when he first ran in, there were champion goats. So the champion goats, champions are only worth 300% XP, except in the Nice case, where the champions spawn with minions, the champions are worth 300% XP, the minions are worth 500% XP. That'll come up later, much later in the series, as being pivotal to getting some world records later on. Now, he's gone here. He's gotten Tal. He's got 2 Tals, so we might be able to hold on to 2 of those for cubing up. He might, you know, just use the Tals for his Taleth straight away. He's going to check Chassis to try and just get that 2-socket armor early. Just sell something, man. Just sell something. Come on. Wow. That surprised me. So he sold the Strangling Gas Potions. I was a bit curious when he didn't use the Strangling Gas Potions against the Countess, as I called out earlier. He definitely should have done that. That would have saved him some time rather than killing everything around her and using the weak fire blasts against her, since she's very resistant to fire. Wasting time killing those raptors, but never mind. So pushing down. He's a bit far from the tower, but it's not too bad. He's got to shrine on the way, so maybe he'll be lucky and pick up an experience shrine there. There's no shrine there, man. So just pushing on, you can see here, once again, left turn. He's got a lot of these layouts where he's forced to enter this way, doesn't he? And Lightning Enchanted, there you go, picks that up. Similar to Lav, he hasn't gotten the 2-socket helm, and he hasn't picked up a Tome of Identify either. So that's interesting to me. So that kind of stuffed him a little bit when he went to sell a bunch of stuff to Chassi then. He also kept hold of the 8 to life small charm, which is pretty helpful, like if you're going to be playing it safe, especially in hardcore. But most runners these days would just sell that charm for money, like 8 life. It's good, but it's not amazing. Now Spectral Hit, this one's going to be slightly resistant to his Fire Blasts, but yeah, there we go. Still Fire Blasting. Pushing up. Unlike Love, is not pumping... I can't even remember what I was about to say. Is not pressing the super chests. So back there, as he ran through, there was a particular tile block that always spawns with a chest on it, and that chest is very likely to drop just lots of stuff. Like, I think it does about 5 rolls through potentially dropping things. And, you know, it's a great place to get amulets. It's a great place to get rings, especially. Popping those super chests. And Nightfall here is just kind of skipping those. Once again, gets another Ghost boss pack. So this is actually really good for his leveling. He's already level 8. Probably coming into the next Countess run, he'll be level 9. He's got his burst of speed going. And that's why he was picking up the javelins. I've actually never seen an assassin with burst of speed using javelins. That was actually really fast throws. That's an interesting one. Maybe someone should look into that again for fighting the Countess. So that's how Nightfall's doing it. He's just managing the distance using javelins against the Countess rather than the Strangling Gas Potions. I think the Strangling Gas Potion strategy is honestly better, since it's pretty much guaranteed to hit every time, because it's a magical attack rather than a physical attack. So
yeah, I did play on Battle.net.
Probably a shame that he's putting that time into
quite a bit lately.
using jabs.
Doing speedruns today actually is because the servers are acting really shitty.
That's interesting.
I guess all the shop owners are doing all their SOJ selling today.
That's interesting.
Yellow clones are spawning out of the fucking ass right now and crashing pretty much every game. Well, it's not the clone that's crashing the game, it's the fact that there's so many
That is really interesting. So it's not his actually just doing a speedrun. This is so early in the speedrun community that there wasn't a community. He's just speedrunning because he can't play Battle.net. Wow. Just couldn't get online. So continuing to push through, this is his 3rd run. He's only really got the tals so far. He might have enough excess tals to cube up into a Ral though, so that's okay. No, he must have sold some earlier.
Okay, so
He's got Tal, Ith,
really?
Nef.
Jesus.
So he needs
Good.
a couple more Nefs to get that Earth. Yeah, he's doing it rough. Now this one, yeah, is a bit long. Pushing on. Spending the time killing the champion archers, that is a complete waste of time. Would not recommend anyone bother with that. As we said earlier, only 300% XP, and archers are just really painful to kill. Like, they have a lot of life, and they take a lot of your health, so... Especially if there's a ghostly one there.
Today. Seems about right.
So, interesting strat here. He's not letting the guys all group up on the Countess, so he gets the secondary benefits. Okay, he gets his Eth and another Nef, so he's pretty close. Well, doesn't worry about the Nef.
I'm trying to make a Kixin and a Cursemancer, and eventually a hybrid Amazon.
They'll never see me coming.
Nice.
Another experience shrine. He missed a boss pack there. You could tell even outside of the raptors there, so there was a boss pack raptor, probably, you know,
So
could have been
still
worth
in
his time
round
throwing
two,
a
and I have
couple
about
of
7
fire
minutes left
blasts
to
at
get
that.
them, which means about 2 or 3 more countess runs.
But yeah, so missed opportunity. Spending the time killing the champions once again. We wouldn't really see that in modern speedruns at all. Is he gonna pick up, especially a possessed? They have massive health, and the XP you get from them is just not worth it.
It's a freaking Lana.
Doo-doo. So there we go. This one didn't spawn with too many minions, unfortunately, but that's okay.
No, not that.
And we're just spending the time in the tower. He's really holding out. Maybe that's why he was killing the champions, because he really needs some mana potion drops. So champions have a guaranteed drop of 2 potions, plus potentially gold, potentially an item.
Serious.
Boss packs, guaranteed to drop 4 potions. And yeah, he's got no mana potions, so that's actually kind of unlucky here that he had to spend the time doing that. Now he does actually get the Tome of Identify and picks up a whole bunch of potions, so there you go. Pushing ahead. Is he going to pop the super chest? So that's the spot with the super chest there. Missed it. I was too late. Yet another ghost pack. Probably like there's a minor optimization he could be doing there, which is run past it and throw like while leading them on. He keeps checking that second area, which he just shouldn't bother with. Maybe he's checking that for another boss pack, but since one's already spawned, the only way you can get a second boss pack spawning is in this L shape here. So you can see this particular tile he's on here, how it is an L shape. Those L shapes are just about guaranteed, like 99.5% of the time, there will be a boss pack spawn in the L shape. So if you have a map that's long enough, and you can spawn a separate boss pack outside of the L shape, and then get to an L shape and a second boss pack will spawn. That's really great, and a good part of, you know, when you have a good tower layout, that can be worth your time.
Wait, please, it's not the resistant runes. This is an amazing one so far.
Yep, so he's really hoping for those runs. This is the 4th countess. Is he going to get it? So he got Raltier. Nice.
Holy shit, it actually happened.
So he's about 2 countess runs ahead of Lav's record, which is awesome.
Drop this shit.
He's not doing the Tal Eth bug like Lav did, so that's very interesting as well.
Pockets magic. Okay.
Gets his 2 socket stuff much earlier than Lav did as well, and he is just putting the runes in there so he doesn't have to carry them in his inventory. That is very interesting. And just selling everything off. So as I mentioned yesterday, by putting in Tal Eth into your armor early, it's very common for there to be a bug
Have it.
that you will get the faster run walk benefit as soon as you put it in there, even though technically your character is not a high enough level to use
Do you GSP figure? I used to. I stopped doing that this year.
What you need?
Repairs his gear. Is he going to get... He gets a faster hit recovery helm. That's interesting. And hit recovery belt. That's interesting, going back to those strategies. So that's something I commonly see Indrek do these days. But yeah, he hasn't really been picking up the chip gems, so not getting mana benefits, as I made several mentions to yesterday. Potentially mana or life benefits by putting in chipped sapphires or chipped rubies into a helm. Not doing that strat. Has gone the hit recovery instead. I'd have to look up the hit recovery frames. I wonder if it was worth his time getting that extra 27 hit recovery on top of the stealth frames. I mean, while stealth isn't working, definitely worth his time. But yeah, I wonder if it actually saves him another frame of hit recovery overall. Just while he runs through, Tamar Highland's always going to be basically facing that way, because the
A little bit too long.
outer cloister map is always basically exactly the same sort of direction. Let's look this up. Assassin, Diablo.
With the PP, I pretty
FH.
much went full speed as far as my skills are concerned, so I expect Act 1 to be pretty much one of the fastest splits I could ever get. 12 at killing Andariel.
So there you go. He is still committed
make up
to the
time
exact same
between
strategy
games.
as... Doesn't pick up the waypoint at the outer cloister. Interesting. I guess he's playing hardcore, so he's not concerned about safety, maybe? But he could still save and quit, so that's interesting. Just very confident in it, I guess.
Don't you love my grammar?
So pushing through the barracks, hasn't really come across too many boss packs here, like he's just got the one ladies pack so far. Barracks can be really great for
Some fire
experience,
resistance,
so
I'll
yeah,
tell you
surprised by
what.
that.
Not worth it. It's only 2. This is gonna be the level. Oh god, if I don't fucking get perished in here.
Yeah, he's got a fanaticism pack as well as champion pack in there. So this, as I said, good amount of boss packs can spawn in the barracks, and this will be really good for his experience. If he's committed to that level 12 Wake of Fire strategy before Andariel, he's already there. He's smashing it. So Wake of Fire, an astonishingly powerful spell by the assassin. He's just going to be ripping through the game now. Shouldn't be spending any time really killing excess packs now. Should just kind of just run, lay a couple of traps if he sees a boss pack, and then push on through. Coming up. Yeah, probably wise to go to the left. Yep, and there you go. He's got the exit. So he's not going the Herodric Malice route. Not going to imbue anything. He's just coming straight into the jail, and we'll be looking for that straight across map. So we went to the left there, and to the left in jail level 1 is the waypoint. Straight across on level 1 and 2 is the exit. So his block tile was this way, and he's looking for an exit tile that way. Now this time, level 2, he's been forced to run this way, so the exit tile will be that way. Now it might be over here, it might be over there, but regardless, it's a straight through map yet again on level 2, relative to the direction you are forced to run out of a tile. Level 3, slightly different to level 1 and 2, where it's a left turn. Now I've got these hit recovery frames up, and I'm just looking for Assassin. Assassin, hit recovery frames. So he goes... Yeah, he only needed 1 extra item of hit recovery to add on to stealth. So hit recovery would be 15% to get from the natural 9% down to 9 frames to 7 frames. By getting an extra, 10% on top of his stealth, 25% I think is on stealth, he gets down to a 6 frame hit recovery, which is actually pretty nice. Does save him some time. Doesn't bother picking up the charm there. He's picked up a clasped orb, I think it was.
I don't like it down here.
So, yeah. Just on level 1, just running throughout the maps. You just got to know the tiles here. There's no particular way to navigate Catacombs level 1 or level 3. Yeah, it is 25 faster hit recovery on stealth, so there we go. 25 faster run walk, 25 FCR, 25 FHR. But, since stealth isn't working for him, by having that 10% on his helm and 7% on his belt, still pretty helpful. Getting him above that 15% breakpoint down to a 7 frame recovery. So now he's on level 2, and I give this commentary every time, and every time I get burned by the speedrunners. So I learned from Teo that you should run Catacombs level 2 in a clockwise fashion, because if you find a waypoint, WP, it's always a right turn from the waypoint to the exit. So if you are running and you find the waypoint first, you go back here and turn right. And it gives you a really handy hint, just in case you run. Now, Nightfall here does seem to be running it clockwise, so, oh my god. It's great to actually see this advice being adhered to. Oh no, he's going counterclockwise. Never mind. This little tile here with the corner commonly spawns champions, so definitely worth his time opening that door just in case there was a champ pack in there. Normally, if there is an enemy pack in there, they will be, like, there'll be a glow inside, so you can know. Alright, as with every time I do these commentaries, starts running counterclockwise and finds the exit first. Whatever. Whatever. And then once again, level 3, it's just a matter of knowing the tiles and knowing when you're going to hit a dead end, which you should have known that was going to be a dead end.
How deceiving.
How deceiving indeed. So running through, we've got...
Why did I do that?
We're at 27 minutes already. You can see, compared to yesterday, he's already got his Wake of Fire, so he's not spending all his time killing enemies. It's just a matter of navigating the maps and getting to Andariel quite quick, and he should be able to beat Love's time. Now, is he going to get the maps? Yes, he does. He's at level 4.
Wow, I'm actually going to beat this time.
Might be laying 1 too many traps there, but unlike Love, he's not laying 5, he's laying 3. So he's getting closer to where he should. But once again, still seems to be making the mistake of continuously laying Wake of Fire rather than just... There you go. Now he's doing 2 Wake of Fire, throw your Fire Blast. Immediately goes to Wareve, straight to the east, pushing ahead. So it does get a sub 30 split in Act 1. That's pretty nice. Might have got distracted by something else on his computer or clicked out of the frame or something, who knows. That is actually a thing that I've never noted before. Faster block rate. So I've never noted before that you don't actually bother doing the Decade Cane quest at all in these runs. So he ditches his hit recovery belt for a proper belt, so he gets the extra row of potions there, which is quite nice. And mana is always critical, so you couldn't actually do these kind of speedruns back in the pre 1.0 or 1.10 basically versions of Diablo, simply because vendors didn't sell mana potions until then, and since basically every speedrunning strategy is so determined by using lots of spells, you gotta get...
some games have a lot of...
Gotta be able to buy those mana potions.
Definitely does. Some games are strictly talent.
Wow. Anyway, as he said, holy cow, he got a very early exit out here to the Dry Hills. So from the Rocky Waste to the Dry Hills, every Act 2 outdoor map is a big square. He ran in here and got the exit immediately. Exits can also appear here, here, here,
in the
here,
speedrunning
and
community,
here.
they call it RNG.
And oftentimes you will be running up and you'll get to a blocked off side, and you run up to here, you should just run immediately over there. Some people, like Lav yesterday, were just running all the way around. He was just lucky enough to get a very quick exit. Did he get a waypoint then? I was too busy doing map commentary to actually note whether he got it in the Dry Hills. Pushes straight ahead into the Halls of the Dead anyway. Halls of the Dead is one of these Act 2 maps that is a left turn. Now, Act 2 maps you basically always enter and it's a T, and you just got to imagine that straight through is down the T line. Left turn is the way he wants to go, and that's going to be the exit for him. So it may take a bit of weaving, he may have to go out and around and blah blah blah, but that's what it looks like. And this is going to hold true for the Halls of the Dead, for Talrash's Tomb, for Clawviper Temple, not for Maggot Layer though. Critically, Maggot Layer is one of the only areas in the map where you turn right, but Halls of the Dead, it's a left turn every time. So you can see last time it was laid out like that.
No,
this time
items.
It's laid out like this.
I've got what I need.
And it's going to be a left turn here. So nice quick exit on level 2, and once again level 3 it's laid out like that, so the end room will be over here somewhere.
That's extra strong.
That's interesting. So he's actually spending his time looking at the affixes on the bosses to say, are they going to be resistant to my spells? So Spectral Hit and Fire Enchant are both going to be extra resistant to his fire spells. So he saw there that the Unraveler was only extra strong, so worth his time actually throwing a couple of Wake of Fires down just to kill it. He is still spending probably too much time putting down Wake of Fires, to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh, bullshit.
Now, this is something you'd see often in kind of newer runners, is just slower inventory management, a bit more methodical, actually has to think through how he's going to lay things out. The later runners that we see nowadays just do it all instinctually. They know, they just go over and right click and clear out their stuff and reorganize everything astonishingly fast. So this is, it's got the logic behind it, but it's just a bit too methodical. It's very interesting that he's still keeping hold of that spiked shield. I'm surprised. You'd almost never see anyone using a shield strategy.
Go ahead and see if it's up there.
He did get the waypoint, so that
There's
will
a
save him
chance
some
Far
time.
Oasis could always still be downstairs. Go ahead and call it up here.
So there you go. We really want it. It's not going to be there, man. That's a cut-in corner. So he hasn't quite
At least about a minute.
known that tip about the cut-in corners on the Act 2 map yet. That's interesting. So might not have figured that one out at this stage.
Okay, good.
Very good. Gets the exit. Unfortunately, had to rerun a fair bit of the Dry Hills just because he went straight into the Halls of the Dead. Out into the Far Oasis. Now, he's got maggots here, which isn't great. Is he going to have beetles? We always want to see beetles in the Far Oasis because they have low life pools and give good experience. Exactly as
Worms. That
Nightfall
sucks.
just commented.
I
Yep.
prefer to have beetles here. I'm gonna go ahead and scout downstairs first.
So he's got to find the maggot layer here as well as look for an exit. So he's got an unlucky big map tile. So he's gotten that. And I don't think he's realized that he's
If the maggot
already
layer's not
in
down
here.
then this is a waste of
So
time.
there's no possible way that there's an exit here because he's just run in here. Does find a boss pack though, so at least, you know, by exploring this corner, he got a bit of extra experience. But yeah, that was kind of a waste
It's
of
really
time.
short downstairs, which means the upstairs is it's gonna suck.
So yeah, still a little bit to learn, it seems, on outdoor maps in Act 2, at the very least, in these days of speedrunning. So that's very interesting to me. It's always interesting, like this is why we're doing this whole series, to understand how did the knowledge develop over time in, you know, what gear you should use, what character you should use. As we've already noted, using the assassin seemed like the better strategy simply because the sorcerer seemed too dangerous and you were too likely to die. Especially for Nightfall, who, you know, is a big hardcore guy. And I know later on, after, you know, he kind of got surpassed in the speedrunning community, he kind of became a kind of players 8 guy.
Okay,
Finds the
nice.
exit, finds
That's
the
perfect.
waypoint. That's very
Prefer
nice.
to do the maggot layer last.
Honestly, you could have kept exploring. Like, at this point, it doesn't really matter.
Because I can potentially get more levels here, which means I can get to the maggot layer.
And again, he's hoping for a quick exit to the Claw Viper Temple, but he's checking the wrong side for the quick exit. So that might burn him, because it could be that the exit was down here all along. We'll see how this works out. It's not in there, man. You're in a cut-in. You need to go back up. Find the ladders upstairs. You can tell it's a cut-in because, like, that gap there. Where am I? Over here. The gap between the two walls was too skinny. So you could tell it was going to be a cut-in where it went kind of like that.
I think I'm gonna check down here first.
Yeah. So he's going to check the spot he should have checked first over here. And doesn't matter. It's just a
Swear,
big
this
time
is
loss
a
there.
rare map where every time the next area was actually up the stairs. That doesn't happen too often.
That happens all the time to me, Nightfall. I don't know that that is that rare, to be honest. At least you got the fast exit from the rocky waste to the dry hills, though. So, you know, there's that.
But the Lost City and the Maggot, or the Far Oasis.
Cut in. Just keep running over. Keep running over, man.
Small.
Stop. Stop going up. Stop exploring every nook and cranny.
So that could have added to the luck of it.
I haven't noticed. He is running quite close to the wall, similar to Love yesterday.
Wish I had more money.
So that is also probably a suboptimal way of running that I definitely know Mr. Lamarasi kind of
Battle.net's
fixed.
going okay.
I'm guessing Teo probably fixed as well. Once again, Claw Viper, laid out like this, it's
Servers
a
are really
left
shitty
turn
today, so I can't-
relative to the stem of the T. So he'll be looking for an exit tile that is kind of shaped like that he runs into. Now he's going to have to wrap around here, so he's going to come around and be looking for a left up here. Hopefully he doesn't get absolutely messed with and it's a complete wraparound to make 3 rights make a left, but you know. Yeah, this is looking hard. So he's level 15, he's got 3 points in Wake of Fire, 6 points I think in Fire Blast, and the rest 4. Okay, so he's got 4 in each. So he's got 7 points in Burst of Speed, so that is a big advantage.
If it's over there.
There you go, he's done the backwards check for the potential wraparound map. So he does know that, it's pretty wise, pretty good. Selling things, just restocking on mana potions. He's not doing the belt trick, that's very interesting. So we saw yesterday, as early as Love, we had runners doing the trick where you pick up your belt to just drop all the potions that you just bought in your inventory and then buy more full potions. Just a very quick, handy trick.
Okay, now it looks like it's gonna be this direction.
But Nightfall's just bought them all one by one, just by rapid clicking. That's interesting.
No? Wow.
Should have known that was a dead end because of the crosses, but that's okay.
Okay.
So I think this is going to end up being a wraparound map. So it's gotten a bit stuffed by this map and a little bit by not knowing all his tiles, but
Okay, so...
interesting that he's just running with his belt slops open as well. So, sorry, I got distracted. So he's got 4 in each of Fire Blast and Wake of Fire, and is really spec'd into Burst of Speed, got the dagger running. So those seem to be the key optimizations that he's found above and beyond what Love was running. Like, there's no real gear optimizations. He went a little bit with some faster hit recovery gear. That is annoying. Like, he tried to look behind for the wraparound map, and it was just too far away and too skinny to get the wrapper, like to see it. So, unfortunate. Now you'll note there that Fangskin dropped 2 items that were rare. Super unique boss monsters, like monsters with that will always spawn in a specific area, drop 2 items plus 4 potions. Whereas, you know, completely random.
No.
What are you doing, man?
No, it's not what you're doing. Come on, stop it.
Expected worse.
Welcome to my shop.
Anyway. Yeah, so he's gotten heavily into Burst of Speed, which is the big advantage over
Money.
Love, as well as using a dagger instead of the Katar to get faster trap laying speed. So probably the big advantage is there.
Nice. Okay, Maggot
Oh,
layer.
gets a quick maggot layer. You know, he
Alright,
didn't get
another
quite
pattern.
optimal running and clearly didn't quite understand fully those outdoor maps in Act 2, but has come through it pretty well in the end. Okay, so once again, just to reinforce, it's a right turn for Maggot Layer 1 and 2, so he's come in, been forced to run this way, and he's looking down here. So just dealing with the scarabs down here in the Maggot Layer is a bit rough. It's probably why he wanted that shield so desperately, but I don't think it had big lightning res on it, so anyway. So your Wake of Fire really doesn't work very well in the Maggot Layer. You really need to be relying pretty heavily on your Fire Blast, simply because the gaps between waves and the narrowness of the Maggot Layer, same thing applies with Arcane Sanctuary. There's just not that many actual waves of fire spawning on the map. So pretty heavy use of Fire Blast here. Fortunately, he's not spending all his time laying like 5 different Wake of Fire traps like we saw Love doing yesterday in the Arcane Sanctuary, but probably honestly still wasting time laying Wake of Fire traps whatsoever. Should have known that there was nothing in there, because the hole will actually spawn if you're outside the door if you're that close. But this is going to be it down here. Pretty confident that that's going to be the exit. So the maggot layers treated him a bit roughly, but that's, I don't know, it was a bit further down than where I thought it was. But yeah, right turn should be down here.
Come on, maggot layer.
Come on, maggot layer.
Thank
Exactly.
God. Okay, good.
Kick. At least the assassin breaks those jars pretty quickly compared to the sorceress. The amount of times I've gotten like locked to an ancient tunnel runs. Oof, it hurts. So yeah, the only places that Wake of Fire really helps is in those big open plains or when you're turning a corner here. So where he had the doorway there or in these kind of rooms here, that's where it's worth doing Wake of Fire rather than Fire Blast. Champion Locust, that's annoying. So level 3, just while I'm doing all the map stuff, because that's what I do every one of these runs, you'll always run this way and the end tile will always be straight through. So it's just unlucky that that first one he checked wasn't it. It's kind of getting pretty unlucky here.
Alright, level 3, come on. Come on, level 3.
So he's gone 30 strength, just enough to have the shield, whereas normally you'd only go 30 strength if you were doing a hell run to get an Ancient's Pledge, but this is only a normal run, so that's slightly unusual. Normally you'd only go in a normal run 25 strength just so you can use your belt, but there you go. Doesn't pick up the ring mail. Well, yes, he does. There you go. So any armors that look like they're made of metal, totally worth picking up because you can sell them for a lot of gold, and with that you can buy a lot of potions. So he probably doesn't want to end up like we saw with Love in the previous run, where Love actually ran out of money at the end in his fight with Bale, which can be a big time suck. Now it's interesting here that he's just keeping his cube in the stash rather than with him. That's not something you see in basically any runners these days. There you go, sells the armors to buy a whole bunch of health potions, surprisingly. And we'll be running on through.
Hello.
It's going to pick up some stamina potions. Yeah. Probably overkill on the stamina potions at this point in time, simply because his character level is high enough that the base level of stamina and the amount of vitality that he's put in should be carrying him, so he should only really have maybe 4 mana potions in his total inventory at this point. There you go, he actually got a pretty quick Palace level 2 there, so that was very nice. Spending too much time killing enemies there, like those weren't even a boss pack, should have just run straight through. Pretty much in Palace, unless there's like you're actually getting blocked by enemies, you should just be running through until you get to level 3, where, you know, you've got the guaranteed spawn of Fire Eye, and he can be worth your time killing. Less so with the Assassin, simply because Fire Eye, Fire Enchanted, funnily enough, and Fire Enchanted means big resistances to her fire attacks, so there you go. So he's not going to bother with Fire Eye. We're in the Arcane Sanctuary. Accidentally casts Wake of Fire instead of Burst of Speed. Doesn't go the flat plains way. So I'll be saying this every single run, so apologies folks, but Arcane Sanctuary, you never know which way it's going to be. 25% chance of it being any particular way. Had big data analyses on it. If you want to look into it yourself, I recommend you find Mr. Llama SC's Discord channel and look at the map homework. Work in there. People have looked into it. There's no good way of understanding which way the Arcane Sanctuary is going to be. If it's going to be that way, if it's going to be that way, or that way. So he's just chosen top left, similar to what Lab did yesterday. So I wonder if back in these days people just thought it was more likely to be top left than anything. That's interesting to me. There might have been like a hidden theory that they had that they haven't actually openly expressed. Because ideally what you want to do is you want to run the particular way with the assassin that doesn't have a whole bunch of stairs on it. Because that way you get to those big open blocks and you can cast your Wake of Fires and kill a bunch of enemies there. And it's much more effective than getting stuck on these little lane narrow ways, and especially with stairs, Wake of Fire basically doesn't work at all on stairs. He's going back to town quite a lot as well, so this is probably... Yeah, he bought all those health potions earlier, and a few stamina potions. If he'd kept those stamina potions, then he'd be a lot faster. I'm curious that he exited so early there, because he didn't actually get to the end of that way. He didn't even get to a particular spot where I could tell it was the wrong way. He just got to the top corner rather than anywhere near the center of the end. So that's really weird to me. So this is the way you want to go first in the Arcane Sanctuary. You can see you've got these big open blocks here. They're good for laying Wake of Fire, and you can just avoid things pretty nicely. So this is the way you generally want to run first with the assassin. Then maybe that way he just went or the portal's way. Risky. And we'll be pushing on ahead. There you go. He's got it second way. So exactly the same as Lav got yesterday. Second way Arcane. It's not bad. I might have to actually go back at the end of this and just check that first way if he actually got to the end and I just wasn't paying enough attention. Because bailing that early on it is pretty impressive. Okay, so he's got the moon. Knows that it's a pretty simple shape. It's going to be on the left. I think it's circle, moon, square. Then sun. Cool. Tal Rush's tomb. Just going straight to the left because, once again, left turn map. This is the T that he's got running. So it'll be over here somewhere, or the block itself will end in that shape. And he's got a pretty packed tomb here. Now his stealth's already active, so that'll help him out a lot with Duriel for the hit recovery as well as the faster run walk. Grabs a strangling gas potion. I don't know why. We'll pick up this small charm for money. I'll be worried that this could be going into a dead end at this point. But we'll see. No, it's got the left turn at the end of it. Okay. Very wise. I gotta say, his use of Wake of Fire is pretty good here. Like, just laying a couple, running away. He's laid a couple, dropped a town portal, and they probably didn't even know this at the time. But by having the town portal next to all those enemies, all your traps and the enemies themselves are still active. So entirely possible that those enemies could have kept dying while he was away from, back in town. Nice little optimization there. Puts the stuff in the chamber and then goes back to town while it's going through all the animation to load Duriel. So I can't remember if I saw Lav doing that yesterday, but good to see that that optimization existed as early as this. And he picks up the thawing potions. So that was a big advantage. That was a thing that Lav didn't do in the previous world record, was using thawing potions to boost his cold resistance. Now, it looks like Jace here doesn't quite fully know what it's doing because he's leaving his inventory open. But he seems to be doing that with... Yeah. So those thawing potions actually last 30 seconds every time. So each time he's clicking them, that's a complete waste of time. He should have just clicked them all before he went in, and maybe he didn't realize the mechanics of how they worked. But interesting to see that he's actually using them and that strategy was figured out that early. So there you go. You should ditch that barb helm and just pick up the ring mail, but anyway, never mind. Wisely just chugs his stamina potions now though, so that was good inventory management. And gets the quick kill on Duriel. So same strategy still exists today with Duriel. Just lay a whole bunch of traps and keep running around. Lay a couple, run.
For the mercenary to be effective.
There you go. So he chose not to use the mercenary simply because he's too low a level for it to be worth his time. I wonder if he's going to do the same strategy as Lav did in terms of getting a cold mercenary.
Oh shit, actually, I want that.
20 to life is pretty nice on a ring, yeah. That was worth your time. Too much methodical inventory management here. Now he's doing the bell trick. There you go, that's interesting. Must have just known earlier that he didn't have sufficient space for it to be worth his time, perhaps? That's interesting to see. Alright, add into the Act 3 maps. What I see so commonly in the community as the most hated maps. So, haven't seen any boss packs yet. I wonder... There's a few key things to think about in speedrunning in these maps. First of all, in Spider Forest and the Flayer Jungle, how early are you going to find the little offshoot area that actually has the dungeon you need to go into? You can spend a lot of time going into, you know, there's 3 areas and only one of those will have the actual dungeon you need, another will have nothing, and another will have the waypoint.
No fire resistance, that's really good.
So hopefully, you know, you want to see that you just find the spider cavern first rather than the waypoint, which he does. So that's pretty good. Another nice map layout. Secondly, and similarly, you want to find the Flayer dungeon first rather than the waypoint or the nothing area. And then also what can really help, and what we saw in Lab's run yesterday, is immediately dropping... Don't pick up the blade talons, man. Never mind, whatever. Drop the talons. Ugh. Secondly, exactly as we saw in Lab's run yesterday, you want to see a skip. So off the Spider Forest, you can either have just the Great Marsh and then you have to run through the Great Marsh to the Flayer Jungle, or you can have both the Great Marsh and the Flayer Jungle coming straight off the Spider Forest, so you get what is known in colloquially as a marsh skip. Bit of mana from the charm, that's okay. That cold damage is useless, so I wouldn't be too excited by that. I don't know what rune that was there that dropped, but oh well, couldn't have been too useful. Once again, picking up the Strangling Gash Potions, complete waste of time. Maybe he's going to use them on exactly as we saw with
so killing things are necessary.
With Love yesterday, where Love used the gas potions against what's his name? Grand Vizier of Chaos, who's fire immune, as well as Colenso the Annihilator, who is also fire immune. The 2 bosses you do actually have to kill. First to get to Diablo and second to get to Bale. Strangling Gas Potions are just really weak though, so you really should only be bothering to pick up Choking Gas Potions rather than those. Looks like he's... Yeah, this is off the 6th tile, so it was straight through to the Great Marsh, so he's not going to get a Flayer Jungle, like a marsh skip, unfortunately.
Straightforward. This could either be a dead end or it could go to the Flayer Jungle. I'm just gonna pray that it takes me to the Flayer Jungle.
Interesting. He seemed to, like, kind of know that because he ran straight into the Great Marsh, he needs to go through it. I'm not sure what he meant there by the comment around it's either going to be a dead end. Because technically the Great Marsh can't go further beyond the Flayer Jungle, because it'd be going into Lower Kurast. So if Great Marsh is coming off the end of your Spider Forest, like in either tile 5 or tile 6, which in this case it was tile 6, you have to run through the Great Marsh to get to the Flayer Jungle. So unfortunately going to be spending a lot of time running through here. But luckily he didn't waste time checking out the other two offshoot areas of the spider forest. Now he's probably spending a little bit too much time killing ordinary bad guys here. Should only be targeting the boss packs. But as he said, he still does need a little bit of experience. And similar to Lav yesterday, he wasn't resetting areas, like save and quitting that much to respawn enemies there, so hasn't quite gotten the same experience gain that we see in most runs these days, where they tend to save and quit a lot and respawn enemy packs, and respawn boss packs in particular. This is not looking good. I'm guessing there was...
Okay, thank God.
Wow. Wow. Okay. That's a weird map, but alright. So gets the
I don't think that's gonna be
sideways exit
If it
from
is,
the end
it's
of the
gonna be
marsh.
very-
Now, he grabbed the stuff there, and he grabbed the orb earlier simply because if they spawn with plus to skills, similar to why he picked up the wolf helm and the necromancer head, if they spawn with plus to skills, they can sell for a lot of gold. If they don't spawn with plus to skills, it's a complete waste of time keeping them in your inventory, because class-specific items are worth pitiful money unless they spawn with
Still lost some time. because
spawn with
the,
plus to skills.
the march is necessary, but
Now he does have the little guys with big knives here, so he's going to get a good amount of experience. And it looks like okay density. Yep, little blue dudes with big knives. That's a good sign for an excellent Flayer jungle in terms of getting experience. Yep, laying too many traps, but still doing fairly good in terms of like laying a couple, then running, then laying a couple, then running. Is he going to pick up the breastplate? Yes. So breastplate, again,
some good money.
it's an armor made of metal. It's good money.
Pretty sure this
This is not going to be it, man. Because you've already seen the waypoint. This is the nothing area.
good experience though.
Well, yeah, at least by running in there, he got the experience shrine, so that's going to help him a lot. Especially in this Flayer jungle, as we've covered off with those guys. Although he seems to be running into a bit of a dry patch for enemy spawns now. Okay, he's already at the exit, so he might have to run backwards a little bit. Should have just run forward, man, and go back to the waypoint and run through again.
Oh my God! Holy shit!
Wow. Ouch. Is he going to do the jade figurine like Love did yesterday? No, he's not. Alright, there we go. So he's ditching that strategy.
It's the first time you fucked me up.
The stresses of hardcore. Gotta love it. Running through. So similar to Love, he's checking the top right for the exit rather than the top left first. I wonder why that is. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too used to everyone using the indirect map layout, where you exit from the top left in the town in the first act now, which is pretty much guaranteed to have the exit for Lower Kurast on the top side rather than the bottom side. So, anyway. Now, is he going to optimize his sewers running, unlike Lav did yesterday, where Lav just skipped it all and had to run back from Travincal? Surely he's going to do the sewers first, actually, if he's pushing on. I think another rune just dropped then. Anyway, never mind. It's just worth gold at this point. So sewers, you want to run clockwise, exactly the same logic as catacombs. Unlike catacombs, there's not a waypoint here, but there is a golden chest. So if you see the golden chest, say the golden chest is in a tile that's like that, you need to turn right from the golden chest to get that. And that's why you want to run clockwise around the sewers. You can be unlucky because you can see, like right here, there's like a big tile that's going inside the map. And sometimes the level 2 exit can spawn in on the inside edge rather than just the outside edge. But, you know, yeah, we'll pick up that breastplate as well for even more gold. And did he get it? Probably spent too much time trying to pick it up in the end. Now he's not running on the outside edge anymore. That's a bit funny, but okay. Once again, doing a good job of keeping his burst of speed up, which is pretty good. Yeah, so he just wasted a bit of time getting to the outside edge there. Uses the opportunity to go back to town and just sell a bunch of stuff. And restock on potions. He's getting too many health potions is the only thing. I mean, I know it's hardcore, so that might be a pretty big incentive for him. Should have just dropped a town portal and pressed on to Travinkle. So there's another optimization that you would see these days if someone was at that stage. So rather than continuing to run around, because now when he gets to level 2, he's going to have to run all the way back up to the grounds that he's already covered to get through to Travinkle.
That's something I should have done a long time ago.
Unlucky, it's taken a lot of exploration to get through this sewers. Once again, probably spending too much time dropping traps.
Time in here. I think it's down here. No.
Could be off the side there where his cursor is, though.
So I passed it at some point. Unless it's right here.
Wow.
Okay, here we go.
That was a rough sewers, man.
It's the very opposite side of where I want to be.
Yep, that's why you should have just pushed ahead to Travinkle, man. Now, is he going to just take the exit and run across the overland, or is he going to go through the sewers to get to the next area?
Shitty. No matter how you look at that.
Yes, yes it was. That was rough, man. That was rough.
It was all the way down. Down is the last direction you want to go here. You want to hope it's closer to Upper Karast. And I don't have any stamina potions. That's really not good.
Probably chewed through too many of those stamina potions for making room for those breastplates, and then didn't restock on any stamina potions whatsoever. So as much as I said he doesn't really need to worry about stamina potions, like I say, you probably still want to keep about 3 or 4 in there. Finds the well though, so that helps him out with his stamina. That's pretty good. Yep, just killing a boss pack on the way. Probably worth the time there, just since it was so fast. And I wonder how he's going to do this. Is he going to kill? No, he's just going to go to the waypoint and then go back to Flaya Jungle, presumably. Got to do his inventory management for that eye because he's keeping his area free. I guess this might be helping him in a way by giving him a few extra slots for potions. There you go. And he does grab the Cold Mercenary. That is so interesting to me. Okay, so we've got still running the same strat as Lav there with the Cold Mercenary. Probably not worth his time getting it for the Flaya Jungle.
Missed.
Just
Not much.
laying out there. So is it going to be down? Yeah. So many baggers. Choking, that's what he wants. He wants the choking gas potion, so does get lucky there. If he's going to use any potions against Grand Vizier and Colenso, definitely wants those choking gas potions. Don't need to explore every little area, dude. Come on, just keep pushing down. There you go. So this area is going to be the Flaya dungeon.
This is looking good.
Is he going to Gidbin it?
Yep. There's my level 1. Kill anything anymore.
Doesn't Gidbin it. Okay, so he's not worried about the rare ring. And since he's already got level 20, he doesn't need to kill anything. Exactly as he's just said, just needs to survive. So just needs to lay enough traps to get stuff out the way. And getting level 20 in Act 3 is probably okay. Honestly, you probably want to be exiting Act 3 with just a little bit left to go, since you have to kill enemies in Chaos Sanctuary. Even though they don't give you that much experience, it might be like 50% experience effectiveness in Chaos Sanctuary since you're so underleveled.
I had an amazing Act 3,
Eh.
so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose some time here. Oh fuck. Alright.
Looks like he does know the Act 3 or the Flayer dungeon layouts somewhat though, so that's okay. He's not getting lost like Love did yesterday, or in the previous run. I keep saying yesterday, sorry everyone. Maybe he doesn't, maybe he just knows the rough rule to just run around the edges and run the way that you don't think you should run with these layouts. Because he does seem to be exploring some nooks and crannies and not paying enough attention to the map. Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there. So, yeah, definitely laid about 3 too many traps there. And now he's got his cube with him, which will help. And on to kill the council. Oh, looks like Lav's joined the chat as well. That's nice. So you don't actually have to kill every single member of the council here. All you have to do is kill one of them to get the flail, and then you can smash the thing, the altar, and just go down. So grabs that, morph it up.
Oh, I forgot I can use that.
And he completely forgot to use his leaf that entire time.
It's the second time I forgot about Leaf.
Huh. I mean, honestly, you rip through the enemies that fast that it doesn't matter that much. But you definitely want it out for bosses, so just as well he noticed, hey? Endurance of Hate level 1 is a left turn, so you can see here he's just quickly turned left as he entered, trying to find the exit tile here, so he may have to go up and around a little bit. There you go, this is the exit here. Level 2 is a straight through. If you turn left, you find the waypoint, and similarly, if you come from the waypoint, you'd have to turn left to get to the exit, so pretty handy to remember. So he's coming this way. This way will be the exit, and over here will be a waypoint. So, you know, handy if anyone ever gives you a waypoint on Battle.net. There you go, there's the waypoint. I don't know why you bothered grabbing it, but maybe for safety.
I don't need to click the waypoint, it just always happens.
Just force a habit from Battle.net, hey? Alright, and here we go. So, off to Mephisto. He needs to revive his mercenary, maybe? I don't know if he's going to do that or not. And he's not doing the belt trick there, so that's... It's funny how he dives in and out of that.
Okay, I've got 5 potions. Good.
So he's not worrying about his mercenary. Is he going to moat trick like Lav did yesterday? He has done the wise thing of just running straight through and not allowing a council member to come along. No, he's doing... Okay, so he switched to the Mephisto method, just like everyone does in speedruns these days, where you just fight him head on and try and dodge his attacks. So no moat trick, none of that. Just straight across. And make sure you dodge those charged bolts, because they can absolutely wreck you. But getting through pretty quickly, he's got his leaf on. Oof, that was close. Definitely the runners you see these days are better at avoiding Mephisto's attacks. But to be honest with you, this is still pretty top tier stuff, so, you know, very nice. Didn't get the ruby, how interesting. And replaces his belt with something, with a rare one that I didn't even see the stats on. So here we go. Pushing up, restocks on
1 juve. Okay, I gotta
those.
be extremely careful.
I wonder if he's going to get the fast outer steps 2 Planes of Despair exit, just like Lav did in the previous run. No. So he hasn't got that, so he's going to have to
Worst
run.
scenario, I
Exactly
will
as I've
save
said.
it.
The layout
Go back to
here
the waypoint.
is kind of the outer steps. He's come down here. You hope for an exit here, but it can also be here or here. So he's going to run this way. And hopefully, you know, next time he finds it here. Otherwise, it'll be over here. He probably checked a little bit too early in the corner there for that bottom exit. And looks like he's not going to get it, so it must be on the right-hand side. There we go. So he's got that exit there. I wonder if he's going to kill Iswell. Probably not. Yeah, once again, just looking for a quick exit. I'm pretty sure the exit paths for the City of the Damned are much further up, so probably up here. So if we lay it out like this. Sorry, more like that. Could be there, could be there, could be there. And there you go. He's found an early exit checkpoint there for the City of the Damned, so that's pretty good. Unfortunately, getting blocked on the stairs, as I mentioned many times in the Arcane Sanctuary, stairs are the worst enemy for Assassin and Druid, just because your big area of effect attacks, Wake of Fire and Fissure, just do not work at all there. So now he's got to basically do an exploration of the City of the Damned, just thoroughly checking it out. There's no clear way of knowing where the exit is, and you can just have a huge time sink running around the whole map here trying to find that exit. But that's pretty nice. Just complains about not having stamina, but doesn't go back to town when he gets to the waypoint. That was a bit silly. Probably bought one too many stamina potions there. And we'll resurrect his mercenary, because as I've mentioned earlier, he needs that for Grand Vizier of Chaos. Grand Vizier of Chaos is immune to fire attacks, so the assassin is completely useless against him. So that's why he needs this mercenary. Tries to pick up the Sacred Globe because it could have plus to skills on it. Drops it there. Didn't have the room in his inventory, and wisely wasn't spending his time doing the inventory management on it. Finds a fire res shrine. That's going to help him a lot, trying to navigate around those the big demons, pit lords. There you go. Because their inferno attacks, being damage per frame, they can absolutely destroy you, and that's why it's really, really helpful to have any fire resistance you can get off gear when you're running through normal. Doesn't matter what class you're on. Now, unfortunately, his mercenary has died along the way, so that was not ideal. And we're pushing ahead into the Chaos Sanctuary. Yep. So really, you only want to be laying down 2 traps, and he's laying down as many as he possibly can every single time. Not the best idea. So many wasted seconds for every one of those, unfortunately. Playing it a bit safer than Lav did here, so he's just clearing out all the enemies as he comes in rather than trying to run up and just run around them. Probably plays to his point earlier that he's only got 1 rejuvenation potion left, and he was really trying to hold on to that, presumably for the Diablo fight if he gets caught in the lightning hose attack. Dropped so many runes in this run. At least by killing all those enemies, he did manage to get another rejuve and a bit more potions, I suppose. A bit more gold. Oof, rough. Throw fire blasts, man. There you go. Stop laying 4 traps and just throw some fire blasts. Alright, here we go. It's pushing on through. These are these little choke points, the little corridors you have to run up here in the Chaos Sanctuary can be killers. He is spending too much time clearing all the enemies though, I gotta say. He should be trying to run around them and just avoid them better, like he's doing now. Yep. So it's kind of... This is one thing I feel like Love did better, is just knowing not to kill all the enemies and only killing them where necessary. Whereas, yeah, you can see Nightfall here, he's above halfway through level 20. So definitely killing far too many enemies. Should have just popped that seal and just run out straight away. So this is where we can see, you know, he's got some great strategy behind him, but just a few things around actual gameplay and a couple of mechanistic things are starting to hurt. So doing the wise thing though, at the very least, of just running ahead with Infector of Souls there. I wonder if he'll pick up that extra thing of gash potions. Now,
This guy just needs to fucking die.
yeah, Infector is pretty resistant to fire as well, so that makes him
No, wrong
extra
potion.
hard.
God damn it.
So, yeah, he's got his mercenary out now, but probably should be just running straight ahead to spawn Lord Desace instead of spending his time on Infector of Souls. Now his spectral hits are pretty resistant, and those Pit Lords have quite a bit of inbuilt resistance to fire as well, so that's a bit tough. Can take some time to kill.
Speedrunners. I've really so far only come up with one unique thing that I've learned on my own. Most of what I've learned has been from Lav and from Adam.
I wonder who that Adam guy is.
So I mean, I guess I could still write a guide or something, but most of the credit is going to go to those guys.
That's really interesting. It's always fun hearing about, you know, the other people in the community back in the times before I followed it, that's for sure. So yeah, just doing the full clear strategy. He's pretty much full cleared his Chaos Sanctuary. That is less than ideal. He really needs to give his mercenary some potions. Alright, I think he did it then. I think he gave his mercenary a potion. Oh, and he's dead. He's dead. He's gone. Ah, dear. So, yeah, that's probably the big weak point. Here is just killing too many enemies. Playing it too safe. And he's spent too many times, like he's gotten his mercenary too many times.
A chance to inflict cold, fire, poison, or lightning damage. And I think they get a shit ton more resistance or life or something.
Correct. They get a lot more resistance. So there you go. He did know some rough things about Spectral Hit. If not the precise things about it. Now he's just whacking Grand Vizier of Chaos. So, you know, he's using the gas potions, which is probably fairly wise. Still stocking up on gold. It's got 33k gold. Should be alright at this point.
I'm up here.
And we're on.
I'm up here.
Wow, that mercenary just died immediately. I didn't even see Diablo attack him. Goodness me. Yep. So, he's getting his balance okay here with the Wake of Fires. He's just casting too many. He only really needs to cast 2, maybe 3. And then should be doing his fire blasts a bit more often. But overall, pretty good. So that's interesting. Nice potion management, just picking up the ones near the super uniques, the unique bosses rather, that he just killed, so that's pretty handy to see. And just continuing to chip away at that Diablo. So this is the thing about the druid and the assassin, they are so overpowered. But the boss fights for Diablo and Bale still just take forever with these key skills. So, just a matter of waiting it out, because these guys have such huge life pools.
Ask and receive.
There we go.
That's not myself or anything.
A hero's mistake is finally corrected.
Grab some gloves just for the fun of it. I did make this call out earlier in the previous run for Love. Hasn't got boots yet, hasn't got gloves yet. The defense for those really don't matter, because as soon as you start running in Diablo 2, your defense gets set to effectively 0. So don't really need them for the benefits of defense. But if they've got magic properties on it, it can be really useful. And similar to Love here, he hasn't looked for any faster run walk boots. And I know that'll become a thing in later speedruns especially. You can really hope that, you know, Duriel or Mephisto drop Sanders boots for you.
I've got any better.
So gets the skill shrine, that'll give him a lot faster run walk with his burst of speed casting there, which is pretty nice. And just wants to run through and not lay any traps, man. You could have just gotten through there. That's a wasted second. But just pushing ahead, pushing on. Now you can see here, he's about 2/3 of the way to, almost 3/4 even, of the way to level 21, so massively over leveled.
The only thing I'm worried about is ancients.
So yeah, unlucky.
I know I'm rusty.
Well, not unlucky, it's just different. You can see the effects of spending too much time killing enemies basically there. So that's a big optimization that I'm sure Teo will make in the next runs that we see.
Yeah, I did die them last time, didn't I? That's infuriating.
So, let's see. Let's see how we go. It'll be interesting to see. So, we've got the next run will also be a Nightfall run. I'm basically going to commit to the strategy for these speedruns to just do the first and last runs of each runner as I outlined at the time. So, Nightfall has one more record left to cover. We'll see how it goes. I wonder if his cat will make an appearance. His cat commonly appeared in the latter days of his streaming career. So, I wonder if that'll make an appearance on stream or not. Yeah, Wake of Fire, not worth it. And he actually technically could have run around that wall in between the pit.
That other night, though, whenever I did die there, because that was a Saturday night, right? If I'm home, I'm not sober.
I forgot that about Nightfall, that he used to play drunk a
If that
lot.
makes anyone feel better.
Whereas basically no one else in the speedrunning community drinks and plays because they're just too committed to getting those fast times, man. Don't need the fire res, that was not worth the 1 second of delay. There we go, he's running up the sides here. This is the best way to run through the plateau because you're less likely to get boxed in by multiple doors. Does mean you have to run in a little bit at the end, but generally, you know, there's ways around the doors and all that kind of stuff, so pushing on through. Dun, 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 dun. Such dramatic music, so moving. Alright. Left turns here in the Crystalline Passage, Glacial Trail, and Ancient's Way. So here he has been forced to run this way. We'll be looking for a left turn, so we'll be running along the edges. As you can see here, trying to get up to presumably this tile around here, and then continuing to run up until he can find a left turn to get to the next level, to be the Glacial Trail. These maps can just be really long and tedious and annoying. So there we go, Glacial Trail, and he's going to be forced to run down here, so it'll be a left turn there. Doesn't grab the Stamina Shrine, I guess he's pretty confident. He does have a bunch of Stamina Potions, so probably feeling okay. That is a nice quick exit to the Frozen Tundra, so you got to love that one for sure. Now, running straight across, I've never actually seen that exit to Abaddon so close. Anyway, running straight across the Frozen Tundra here, just wants to get through this as quick as possible to get up to the Ancients. So no killing any bad guys. Honestly, I would have picked up that lightning shrine just for the extra lightning res against the Ancients in case one of them were lightning enchanted, because those lightning enchanted bolts can just absolutely wreck you, rather than worrying about this fire resistance, because the fire damage from any of the bad guys in Act 5 normal is just not that bad that you need to worry about fire res. Alright, so he's being forced to run up this way this time, so it'll be a left turn here. Could be a quick exit. Whoa, super fast exit. That's amazing. That is amazing. He didn't kill Shank the Overseer, so despite his kill fest everywhere else, he has not gone for the strategy of making Act 5 potions cheaper. He's holding on to the extra little bit of cold res there on his Grand Charm. Should have just sold that. 7% cold res is not going to make a big difference. And grabs a mercenary just for fun. Probably just playing it cautious since he previously died to Ancients, as he had mentioned there in a previous run where it was going well. So this mercenary, like the chill effect of the mercenary, basically all the Ancients cannot be frozen. So not really worth the time there, and his mercenary's dead already from a couple of quick whirlwinds. So yeah, that was a waste of time. Maybe, you know, the mercenary kept them a little bit bunched together earlier on, so that could have been okay. He wasn't really feeding the mercenary potions either to keep him alive, so, you know. So just really keeping focus on these guys. They must have spawned with a good amount of fire resistance gear. I think Madoc is fire resistance, like has strong fire resist naturally, but Korlik is taking a long time to go. I'm getting these names wrong. I think Talik has big fire resistance naturally. I think Korlik here has spawned with gear that gives him good fire res because he's taken a long time to die. Like this is an enormously long Ancients fight. And he also hasn't gone the strategy that Love went yesterday, where he kept in his mind where, like, that he had a skill shrine somewhere and would go and get a skill shrine before fighting the Ancients. So that's an extra bit of time sucked there. So versus Love, bit of time loss, that's for sure. He is absolutely getting hammered by Talik here. And yeah, going the large mana potions.
That's really not good.
Rather than greater mana potions, simply because they're so expensive and he's starting to run low on money. Which, you know, probably would have been worth his time killing
I fucked up.
Shank.
I kept buying my own potions.
Yeah. Should have killed Shank, gotten the cheaper potions, and he's realized, as I've made many
Thanks,
comments
Bob.
too.
Yes, I did beat Snowhead Temple last night on Jor's Mask. This is like the weekend of triumph and victory or something.
It's not a bad Worldstone Keep level 1. Reasonable exit. Takes a lot of time. So exactly the same as Catacombs and Sewers. Worldstone Keep you want to run clockwise just because it's a right turn from the waypoint to the exit.
Mine had 5 potions. Yeah. Balance off here. Paying the price. Literally.
And now he's just complaining about having to spend too much money on potions. That circle it'll sell for good money though, so that'll help him out. Grab some more strangling gas potions to help him with Colenso. And he probably wasted a good amount of money constantly reviving his mercenary
I
as
might
well.
get reduced to selling all my shit when I'm fighting Bale, because that's happened before. So I am very desperate for money at this point.
So that's a thing that you don't really realize in Diablo 2 is how important money is for speedrunning. It's a thing you definitely notice in Hell speedruns because they have to pay
Alright, I
to
won't lie.
refresh their teleport charges so often.
Keep
But
level
yeah.
3 scares the shit out of me. Alright. Heal.
Oh dear, you'd never see people getting scared by a Worldstone Keep level 3 these days. So that's interesting.
I really don't like this. This is my scariest place.
That Gladius would be worth a bit of money too.
And the true
And the Joe stuff actually, yeah. So definitely some suboptimal running here, not recognizing the tiles. And killing too many enemies. But he's worried about gold, so I'm guessing, yeah, predominantly killing enemies in the hope of them dropping good items for him to get gold, which he's been successful at so far. No, he's just scared of the Death Lords. Okay, I take it back. Probably should just be continuing to run. Because if he just kept running, I guess, like, he might have got boxed in then by running into that dead end if he hadn't killed a couple of Death Lords.
place.
Hard to tell. And again, this is hardcore.
Right
Everyone
there.
plays
Well,
it a
I
bit
did pick up
safer.
the staff here, so this was not a total waste. Now I have to kill everything. Alright, I'll remember to pick that up later.
Stop killing everything, man. You don't need to do it.
Thankfully, they die relatively easy.
I mean, he got Harpies or Furies, so, like, they die very, very fast, which is pretty good. Dude, just leave it and come back later.
Oh, Jeeves again.
Ugh. Too much killing, that's for sure. Literally overkill.
Alright, don't get decrepified and stand there. That's a bad time. You're asking for a bad time there.
Alright, now we'll go get... So we'll sell everything here. Well, that was good money.
There's all the money I need.
You don't need the cold res, man. Alright, so he's holding on to too many potions. He's got 50k gold as well, so that's pretty helpful again. Just spending all his time buying potions here in Act 5 instead of going to Act 4, but, you know, whatever. Time optimization. He spent the time getting the gold. May as well pay off for it, right? So at present, because he didn't kill Shank, the Overseer,
I can't use that.
now, a little optimization that he could have done there. Like, I like the use of the Act 3 Mercenary here, other than getting a better Act 3 Mercenary. Would have been throwing those choking gas potions out before Bale spawned the wave. But, you know, that's alright. Getting through it pretty quick. And And there you go. He's actually figured out the Wake of Fire balance with Fire Blast a bit better now as well. Like predominantly using Fire Blast. So that's pretty good.
No, holy shit, I just moved my window. I died clicking outside the fucking window.
So you saw the window actually froze a little bit there, so he was like almost going to rip. He's killing this wave, which no one would do anymore because these guys have a bit of inbuilt fire resistance and they take a fair while to die. I think they've got fire res that, or they just have big life pools. So normally you'll see people drag wave 3 and wave 5 on the assassin, whereas we've seen both Lav and Nightfall not dragging wave 3 and just killing them instead. But he's dragging wave 4, which is interesting. And he's dragging them all the way down. He's going to pick up that preserved head, isn't he? No, he's not going to pick up the preserved head. That's why he spent all that time clearing this area out, because he was doing a full drag. You wouldn't see people dragging that far down these days.
Come on, guys.
Normally you just sort of drag them out here and then run straight past anyway. Just run away. Just run away, man. I know they're extra fast, but you know. There you go. That was the wise thing to do. They'll lose sight of you predominantly. And he's got one in there with him. That's annoying. If you didn't run away, you would have been fine, man. Ugh, this is a time suck. So yeah, definitely he would have been better off just killing this wave in the first instance. And he's just checking that he's got Lister following him, because all the minions are kind of attached with a leash to the main boss of the pack. So as long as he's got Lister there, the rest of the guys will generally tend to follow. He tried to do that with the Venom Lords, or whatever they are. Yeah, Venom Lords. But it didn't work for him, so he's just got to hope that it worked this time. All right, just run away now. Yep, perfect. That's the kind of little loop you want to do. There we go. And we're into the Bale fight. So this is just going to take a fair bit of time. So I'm going to wind back my commentary, because I just don't have that much to say. What did we learn in this run? What were the main differences between this run and Lav's? So Nightfall spec'd more into burst of speed, which is pretty good. He knew a little bit more about map layouts, probably. He used the dagger, which was pretty good. So definitely burst of speed, so higher emphasis on burst of speed and the use of the dagger earlier on. He got a little bit better maps layouts. What he did worse was enemy management, so just killing too many bad guys, as well as kind of inventory management a bit as well. Seemed like he figured out the thawing potion strategy for extra cold resistance against Juriel, so that was interesting. And he's gone the thawing potion strategy here against Bale as well, which we didn't see Love do. Now what he didn't do is use a skill shrine. He's still, yeah, he killed too many enemies, basically. He did get lucky in terms of having a shorter amount of runs to the Countess, so he only did 4 Countess runs rather than Love's 6. And what else was lucky? Got a second way arcane. He didn't do the stealth bug in Act 2, he did that immediately, just to save himself the inventory room. He got luckier in Act 1 with lots more boss pack spawns. So he wasn't spending all his time in Act 1 trying to level up, killing every random enemy boss. every random enemy pack, even if they weren't a boss pack. So we did that better. Just, yeah, big time sink in Act 3 and Act 4 and probably Act 5 as well, to be honest. And he's not getting tricked by the Bale clone, so that's an advantage he's got over Love. So just chipping away. Right, that's interesting. Now, it's actually not too far until we get Teo's run, where he gets this down to 125 that lasts for years. So I'll be interested to see what the differences are between Teo's run and this. Because predominantly, like, the gear strats are the same, the skill strats are the same. It's just got to be the maps, and maybe the maps, the way you focus on killing different enemy groups, and presumably maybe shrine usage, I'm guessing. It's going to be the differences between this and Teo's run, and even the modern runs that are pretty low. Because everyone still uses Leaf, everyone still does stealth. Could be a bit of use of faster run walk boots is probably an optimization that could happen as well. But yeah, there we have it. 143.31. He got it. Well done, Nightfall. You deserved your time in the sun.
Shit.
Had a bit of fun there. Over-leveled, but that was a fun one.
No more. I can't carry anymore.
Greetings.
So, here we go. That was it for this latest installment. Hope you all had fun. This was a good one. And we'll see you next time in the next edition of Commentating Diablo 2 World Record Speedruns. Bye!